A bond is a financial mechanism used to raise money. The issuer owes the holder a debt which it repays with interest at a later specified date. The Sunborn Hotel says it issued the €58 million bond so that it could become more financially independent.
We had a loan with the credit finance company here in Gibraltar in the beginning to open up the business and get the development going. And we found that this was the time. Our stability had been reached. The business is growing, and so we figured that this was the right time in order to gain that financial independence, to pay off the loans for the development.
Can you now confirm that all loans taken out against the Gibraltar government or Credit Finance Limited have now been repaid in full?
That is correct. All loans have been paid.
Sunborn say the loans to Credit Finance were repaid early to take advantage of lower financing costs. This will enable them to grow and develop the business. Does this leave you free now to perhaps move the business elsewhere if you wanted to?
We have no interest in that whatsoever, having just invested in this. We have formed a fantastic relationship, which was essentially, I would almost say, sparked in the very beginning between the family company and the family who is the largest investor in this company still to date, the Niemi family. There is a vested, literally, interest in this business. It only, I would say, solidifies our interest to be here in Gibraltar.
The bond issue, as you said, was raised to partially pay off debt, but also to use as a development fund as well. You're still a relatively new business. Does this now mean that the level of the company's liabilities will exceed the value of its assets?
No, the bond itself and the financing that we have will, as I said, give us that financial independence, and it will allow us to continue to invest into the business, which is what we are planning to do. And even though we are just over 3 years old, as you mentioned, still a young business, we have been very busy. So there is also need for reinvestment into the property.
When Sunborn first arrived in Gibraltar, the business model was more geared towards high-end customers, mice and that sort of thing, but it was then reshaped to include more the local market. So can I just ask you whether you feel that that is sustainable for the business moving forward into the future?
Yeah, that's interesting. I think that I've been here a little more than a year, and what I've seen is a greater interest in the Sunborn, or maybe not greater, but growing interest in Sunborn locally for both usage of the facilities and the services, but also growing and making Gibraltar an even more attractive destination. We're impacting the local environment, and I believe quite positively.
Sunborn now employs around 100 Gibraltarians, with half their revenue being made up by local business. Improvements are now planned for their ballroom, meeting spaces, entrance area and restaurant.